Study Session 3. The process of social casework. Introduction. This lecture will discuss the process of social casework in social work practice. The discussion will be on the following subtitles. 1. Social diagnosis in social casework. 2. The process of diagnosis in social casework. Social casework primarily involved itself in direct interaction with individual clients. The key is engagement. Frequently, clients seeking help have the expectation that the agency or the caseworker will take over. This is an erroneous conception of the casework process, which may have resulted from the client's previous life experiences with doctors, lawyers, the clergy, educators, and others whose help-giving models tend to be that of prescribing, for preparing briefs, for performing marriages, for and teaching by telling students what they are to learn. Engaging the client meaningfully begins with the study phase. Skidmore, Thackeray, and Farley, 1997. Objectives. At the end of this lecture, you should be able to 1. State social diagnosis, and 2. State the process of social diagnosis. 3. What is social diagnosis? 4. What is the process of diagnosis in social casework? Social casework addresses itself to the solution of problems that block or minimize the effectiveness of the individual in various roles. Problems within the family that interfere with or prevent the discharge of family social and economic obligations are of paramount concern to the caseworker, as are those that block communication and free expression. Difficulties in classification of problems are immediately apparent when viewed in relation to the discrete needs of individuals. A. Social diagnosis in social casework. Diagnosis is a process of discovering patterns of significance in the information directly obtained or inferred. It is tentatively constructed and refined throughout the whole period of contact with the client. It is a way of thinking about situations so that help is made available now and in the future. Its value can be assessed only by its relevance to A. The solution of the social problems presented, B. The client's material and emotional needs, both in the present and where unfulfilled in the past, C. The capacities of the agency and the worker to help. It is not a static conclusion, for it reflects changes in situations brought about by new events and by the effects of the help already given. Social diagnosis is a shared activity with the client. It is dynamic in that it is directly instrumental in changing situations by enhancing perception of them. Sainsbury, 1970. In social diagnosis, there is the attempt to arrive at as exact a definition as possible of the social situation and personality of a given client. An individual or a family seeks the help of social worker, who is also called a social caseworker, or is sent to the caseworker because of an unmet social need or a disturbance in social functioning. This may have an external source. For example, environmental factors beyond the individual's control may lead to shortage of money, of suitable housing, or of work. Sometimes the need or disturbance is located wholly within or between individuals, in how they feel about themselves or in their responses to each other. But most frequently, the need or disturbance is experienced by the individual or family as both internal and external, as, for example, in the various kinds of loss associated with bereavement, family separation, court appearances, surgery, or employment. The caseworker seeks to alleviate these difficulties directly and through support of the client's own efforts and the elements involved in helping are: A. The skills of sustaining the quality of relationship relevant at different times to the individuals or family in their particular situation, and B. The rules and procedures of the appropriate social agency or agencies. In short, a problem or need is presented by a client and assistance of various kinds made available by one or more representatives of social agencies such as social welfare, Department of the Government and Medical Social Services, Department of the Hospital, and so on. B. The process of diagnosis in social casework. The first step in this regard is the respect that must be given to the client's opinion about the source and content of his need. This is in contrast to physician-patient relationship. A physician may frequently have to ignore the diagnostic opinion of his patient. The next step in the process is that the social worker must understand the client's problems and start help immediately. The worker's intuitions, emotions, and value judgments may appropriately find a place in diagnosis, and the social worker should seek to be objective and unemotional. The social worker shall, in the process, establish a relationship that is both intellectual and temporal between diagnosis and A. the investigation of facts, and B. the giving of help. Diagnosis is an intellectual conclusion determining the whole course of future treatment, or a continuing process which develops as treatment proceeds. The process examines in a continuous manner the purpose, content, and skills of diagnosis. The extent to which diagnosis is a shared activity between the social worker and the client is an integral part of the process. The social history of a client is a useful process in the diagnosis, but the social worker must recognize that the client's history cannot be rewritten and must have relationship with the case the client is presenting to the social worker. Therefore, the understanding which social diagnosis provides goes beyond the comprehension of objective data and their interrelationships. It includes the state of mind of the client, what facts mean to him or her at any moment and in any particular situation. In summary, the process of social diagnosis is as follows. 1. The principal source of information is the client. The social worker starts with problems as they are perceived by the client and introduces discussion which the client sees as relevant. Facts are sought about the duration and extent of the difficulty, the way it came about, how the client feels about it, the source of circumstances of his referral to the agency. 2. From this information, the social worker begins to construct descriptive pictures of how certain facts and feelings interact to form the case situation. The social worker will also be trying to estimate whether the quality of the client's feelings seems appropriate or inappropriate. For example, excessive, misplaced, insufficient to the problem as presented. 3. The social worker shall then decide which related areas of the client's life and experiences need more systematic exploration. This may include, for example, the composition of the family, his expectations of the agency's function, his education or employment record, his health, his income, and the management of household budget. Some aspects of present and past family relationships may seem to have direct bearing on the problem as the client experiences it. For example, the way in which the family is reacting to the client's problem and is likely to react or has already reacted to social workers' intervention. 4. The social worker moves to the next phase, which is to structure this data, information. The data comprise thoughts, feelings, events, and responses, which to a greater or lesser degree form in the client's mind a coherent pattern of part of his life. For the social worker, some of the facts, feelings, and responses may seem anomalous, at least for a time. Similarly, for a client who suffered traumatic hardships or a succession of bewildering experiences, the pattern may seem to have broken down. Some events and his responses to them seem unexpected and inexplicable. Thus, the structuring of information can sometimes usefully be shared with the client as part of the process of helping. 5. Hypotheses are then developed about the relative probable causes of the problems and the likely effects of intervention of different kinds upon all the people involved in the case situation. Hypotheses suggest what might usefully be discussed in future interviews, both as part of the helping process and as part of the verification of information. 6. As new information is added, so the structures and hypotheses are revised. The help given so far is evaluated as part of the client's changing environment, so that future help may be made more relevant. Study session summary. Social diagnosis is a process of discovering patterns of significance in the information directly obtained or inferred. This is a way of thinking about situations to make help available to the client now and in future. Social diagnosis has its values in solution of the social problems presented, client's material and emotional needs, and the capacity of the agency and the social worker to help. The major aspect of the process in social diagnosis is the respect for the client to own and express opinion on all issues affecting him or her. The social worker shall establish relationship in the investigation of facts and giving of help. The social worker shall hold as important that the client is the source of information needed to solve his or her problems. Explore systematically client's life and experiences. Structure the information collected and develop interventional approaches. End of study session 3. Thank you for listening.